And I'm pretty sure it's vice versa. All right. Call law Allah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rakah Kwadash. Double honors unto the elders and into the apostles of Great Millstone. We rule well. Shalom to the hopeful election. And it's gonna be extremely quick, man. You know, it says man caught red-handed smoking weed in virtual courtroom. And, this is why the Lord says obey the law of the land. We're gonna get the scriptures to attach it to it. The Lord says obey the law of the land, but then there's also, understanding time and place, Jake. You know, at the same time, there's certain like have some responsibility, have some etiquette, have some, you know, tact and circumspectness, man. But see, I'm not direct to any other sincere brothers and sisters who you know who you are, man. Not any you GMS or affiliates, not you, but just to those that may come across this video that's coming in, man. This is the type of stuff that we talking about, man. These are the type of niggas is gonna get destroyed, bro. I'm gonna play the video, and it ain't just gonna you gonna get smoking weed. No, it's time and place, man. This devil's literally writing draconian is about to push us off some draconian laws, man. Because man, America's in for a rude awakening, man. But here we go. Fair use, fair use. Turn it up. Court in Ann Arbor, Michigan. 36-year-old Anthony Lane is before Judge Cedric Simpson for a virtual conference. 6 months earlier, Lane was charged with one count of possessing methamphetamine or ecstasy and one count of possessing a narcotic, cocaine, or heroin. Today, Lane is requesting to waive his right to a probable cause hearing and have his case sent straight. It's another thing. If you on drugs and that shit has demons attached to them, man. Now, granted, there's lawful practices that you can do. Cannabis is not an unlawful practice. The thing about cannabis is, the law of the land, man. Then you have, the wick, people lace people's weed, and then people be like, you know what I'm saying? You can eat it. Certain Jake smoke it. To each their own. I know in GMS, you're not allowed to smoke weed. It clearly have made that a announcement, but it's not unlawful practice. It has, you can practice, you can utilize cannabis. It has seeds. It does come from the ground, but understand that's why I'm bringing this out. It's time and place, man. Etiquette, time, and place, man. And then obviously being aware of your surroundings. See, Jake, the 2/3 of our people, they're not taught these things, and nor do they consider them, because they may be in a position where they hopeless, man. And that's why these scriptures, they bring life to our people, man. But at the same time, you got the majority of the 2/3 Jakes is particularly you uppity Jakes, man, that really be worse than these type of niggas. To be honest, from my point of view, they just got demons on them because they are on drugs and shit. You motherfuckers aren't on drugs, and you're wicked, so you're just a walking demon willingly. But anyways, and they put drugs in the community. How about that? How about we get on that, Esau? But anyways. To circuit court. Mr. Lane, please state your name for the court. Anthony Lane. Good morning, sir. How you doing? A waiver for continued plea negotiations and resolution in circuit. You understand you'll not have that hearing, and you'll proceed to circuit court for further resolution. Yes, sir. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get it, man. 'Cause I really don't want to watch this shit. To be honest with you, I'm really clear about the edification that come from it. This is Ecclesiastes 3:1 that says, to everything there is a season and a time, to every purpose under heaven, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up that which is planted, man. So pretty much King Solomon, pretty much he had all wisdom. He's telling you it's time for everything, time and place, man. Obviously, since the times are evil, man, you would want to be more circumspect, you know, obey the law of the land. And see, this is where, like we say, 2/3 of our people are not moving it with that sort of tact. Now we're gonna go through things, you go through things, and you know, brothers deal with different ailments, and sisters deal with different ailments, But at the end of the day, we gotta be honest with ourselves, man. It's a sincere walk, man. But everybody don't need to know everything. That's why, you know, I tell, I stress prayer, man. Really, pray to the Lord, man. Pray to the Lord, man, because all of that really ain't gonna, anyways. Sirach 31-24. Let's do this, because this is on conduct. The Sirach, is a really good book when dealing with conduct, even examining yourself, man. You know, if because I use it a lot when I want to examine myself, man. Cause I be fucking up, but I make sure that I fix it. I apologize over it. I go to the Lord and I fix it to the best of my ability. I don't fix it, but I walk in it. What I pray for. And I walk like I'm sorry. I don't just say I'm sorry and go back to doing the same thing. You got to be honest in this. But anyway, it says, "Whoso is liberal of his meat, men shall be speak men well of him. In the report of his good housekeeping will be believed, man." And meat. You can take this truth, this knowledge, wisdom, understanding what you've been taught. That's considered meat, what you put in your mouth, right? The Lord put that when you analyze these scriptures, this is the breath of life on conduct, on how we should be, right? But it also goes into you know the positions that we're in, the straits that we're in, that we will be in, you know, walking that narrow path, man. And we'll have to be in that narrow, straight path, man. And the different things that we're going to encounter. So conduct matters, man. And it's time and place, man. It says Sirach 31, time and place, but also conduct. Being respectful, especially when you come into the temple of the Lord, man. It's just certain things you really have to weed out, cut out, weed out. No pun intended. Cut out, man. You know. But like I said, I'm not gonna be the judge over anybody. I just know that in GMS, if any brothers or you brothers was considering actually joining, I'm not a member of GMS, but they clearly said, you smoke weed, you're not gonna be a member. You know, I have my opinion on it, but also, it's not nothing. They're right. That's their curriculum. Now I'm just going off the scriptures when I say it comes from it's a seed. It comes from the ground and you can't utilize it. As far as smoking it says that there was smoke. There was smoke in the temple. We are the temple. I've heard that. At the same time, is this what's your spirit like? How is it helping your spirit? How is it helping you? Is it pulling you away from the Lord, or is it truly helping you? That's what you gotta ask. That's what you gotta pray about and ask. It's what you should consider when you talk to the Lord. Because if it's helping you, but it's affecting everybody else that's in the body, you might it's something that you might need to find you an alternative. But Sirach 31-24, but against him that is a niggard of his meat, the whole city shall murmur. Meat considering, what you do, by what you say, and how you walk, man. And the testimonies of his niggardness shall not be doubted of, man. The testimony. So somebody say, yeah, this nigga be doing that, he be doing that. Yeah, they're gonna believe it because of how you carrying yourself, man. You sag your pants, or you don't brush your teeth, or if you just one of the ones that just sit around and smoke weed all day, you know, People, and then the only time you come outside is to, bring problems. And, hey, people are going to talk about that. People murmur. So, we don't have to be in the world, but we still have to live in it. That's why it says use the world as to not abuse it. Let's get that. I'm sorry, it was in the New Testament. I'm tripping right now. Yeah. 1 Corinthians 7:31, it says, "And they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world is passing away, man, passive away." And what does that mean, not abusing? You don't want to be in a state if certain things you're doing is putting you in a state. That's why I push fitness, keeping your fitness level up, walking, going on walks, working out, studying, you study, if you got a job, having a job keeps you focused, it keeps you away from those things too. I mean, you're just something, whatever you're able to do, something, because if you start abusing it, then that's counted as surfeiting, man. It becomes an addiction, to where you're overly dependent on something, and without it, you can't function. Like, without it, you're not able to be a productive member in the world, man, or not world, but what it say, if it be possible, live peaceably amongst all men. So, you gotta be sincere in this truth more, man. The Lord is looking at sincerity as well. He sees that. Let me get this real quick, man. I'm gonna end it off. It talks about obeying the law. Those are Titus. Let's do it like this, man. Land. Well, do it like this then. Wrong book. The Heavenly Father. It says, "What then? Israel have." And just TV just popped back up out of nowhere too. But see the type of demons I be dealing with, but it's all good. The Lord's gonna, obey, man. You know what? I'm just gonna do it like this, man, because it's been a long day. I'm tired, you know. But we still get this work still gotta be pushed out, man. Romans 13. Call all Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua for obey the law of the land, man. It says Romans 13:1. Let every soul be subject unto the powers, for there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained are ordained of God. It says, "Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of God." Man, he set the wicked up, and this is their, they pretty much have raped, robbed, and murdered and conquered this land. So this is the land in which they've governed their laws. So there's certain things, it's time and place, man. You should just not do. And that's why whatever county you're in, is why I stress, you know, understanding the laws of that state or that county as well, man. It says, "And they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation, for the rulers are not a good terror. Salakia, for the rulers are not a terror to good works, man. The rulers are not a terror to good works. Like it said, when a man's ways please the Lord, he make even his enemies be at peace with him. You want to go out acting like niggas? You want to go out acting like, you know, crazy ass Edomites, crackers? Then guess what? This land, like I said, they're not sparing nobody right now, man. Niggas which go back to Egypt, Nagas, and crackers, Edomites. So for the rulers are not a terror to good works, man, but to the evil, man. Will thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same, man. And what is good in the sight of the Lord, just preach the word, man. Preaching this word and pretty much fixing yourself up and doing what you can do to help the ministry. That's honorable to the Lord, man. You don't have to be mingling within the world and all. You do what you do as a man, as a young man, or as a man in general. But and be honest with you, man, it's right about now. It's not a time to be getting caught up in somebody else's bullshit. So I'm leave that right there. Call Allah Yumla Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Kahak Kadash and Shalom to the hopeful elect.